This planet is part of a larger federation, was part of an earlier federation, and passed out of its control due to losses in war and other such things. Now, this larger Confederacy, this isn't its right name, but we have often called it and referred to it in the past as the Marcab Confederacy. And it has been wrongly or rightly pointed to as one of the tail stars of the Big Dipper, which is the capital planet of which this planet is. Now, all this sounds very space operation, that sort of thing, and I'm sorry for it. But I am not one to quibble about the truth. This gets in people's hair every now and then. And I don't see any point in lying in order to be acceptable. However, be that as it may, these various planets united into a very vast civilization which has come forward up through the last 200,000 years, is formed out of the fragments of earlier civilizations. Now, I can't tell you accurately exactly what these blokes are up to or where they're from, but this isn't quite germane to this galaxy. That's the first thing you should know about it. It isn't quite native to your track. You find a type of mental implanting and that sort of thing going on here in the last couple of 100,000 years, which are not native to your earlier track. Now, this is all very important. It's very important because they have a terrible problem. They have the problem of people who are native to this galaxy and aren't used to this kind of thing. And they have the basic problem, how do you kill a Satan? Well, actually, this group has gone ahead and made up until recent times, a totally different civilization than the civilization which planted it here. In the last 10,000 years, they have gone on with a sort of a decadent, kicked-in-the-head civilization that contains automobiles, business suits, fedora hats, telephones, spaceships. Quite interesting, but a civilization which looks an almost exact duplicate, but is worse off than the current U.S. civilization. Therefore, you find the current U.S. and Western civilization rather stimulative, because it has moved up to look like the Marcabian civilization. It's been moving up here rather rapidly, and now we're at a point, a very high level of restimulation, because the automobile design, the train design, ship design, well, they've got ships in those areas, which is like the Queen Mary, and the fire engines, and the stuff you do with men's clothes, particularly. All of these things are the same image. So you're going into a highly restimulative era, because we've not had this before. We've been moving up through strata of civilization. We hadn't matched this one. And remember that this society at the present time looks dangerous. It looks very dangerous. One of the highest crimes you could pull in that Marcabian society, probably even today, is income tax. You make one comma wrong, and it's dead forever. Sounds weird, doesn't it? So they got everybody paying income tax. Awful restimulative. Probably nothing much wrong with income tax, for it was administered as a tax. But it isn't. It's administered as a punishment even on this planet today. Well, it's one of their prime punishments in the Marcabian civilization. All of this adds up to what? An era going on right now of highly restimulative associations in the civilization, and therefore a high felt level of danger. People feel like they are in danger. Scientologists every once in a while, hearing me talk like this, feel even more in danger. They say, boy, those guys will have to land here tomorrow, you know. Or if I pull this every once in a while, Diana suddenly appeared on my right side last night while eating dinner. I didn't even know she was in the room, you see, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw a pair of white spots that look like the spats the spaceman uses, you know. And for a split second I said, well, here they are, you know. But anyway, you should realize that the material on the Between Lives area has been much more broadly circulated than any of Marx's material is now, because it was laid down the line in all directions, to the most unlikely places, including Russia, was contained in the book What to Audit and other materials. And that was 1951 and 52. I consider that's interesting because, let me point out to you, that's 11 or 12 years ago, and there hasn't been a ripple. I just want to point that out to you as an interesting point. No, gents of this character who have a system worked out this way, the last thing in the world they'd do would be blow their own game. All I'd have to do is land one spaceship, and they feel like everybody go into convulsion of suddenly remembering everything, and they do, you know. Any rumor of men from Mars or something like that, and this planet goes into a total convulsion. Here you are. That is this planet. Every once in a while you get mad at government on this planet, when in actual fact you're mad at the Marcabian government. And there's a great deal of confusion. Every once in a while somebody will get awfully furious with an organization. Very furious with an organization here on this planet when they have actually identified the organization with the Marcabian civilization. It's almost unbelievable force is used to handle a Thetan and put him into this kind of condition. I've been hit with some awful heavy force in this universe without losing my mind or forgetting who I am. See? So it's pretty heavy duress. And you restimulate that very easily by telling people things. It gets awful unreal. But you would find if you gave them the actual dope that they would be far more in agreement with you than if you gave them just a touch of the dope. You know what I'm saying? You won't find the citizens of this planet very far in disagreement with what you're doing. So therefore you've got some kind of explosion going. Well, these guys are not going to blow their own show. They're not going to do anything peculiar about it. They probably got us all sized up if they know anything about us at all. They probably have some dim idea of what we're doing and saying, oh yes, ho-hum. And give the devil his due. They might even say, well, hey, what do you know? Those guys might be producing a type of technology which we ourselves desperately need.